Yo, what is up guys, Ghost here, welcome back to another video, and as you may have guessed from the title here, we are going to be taking a look at Stadium today. So I've had a couple of opportunities to play the map so far. The other day, I got invited to the EA creator playtest, not by EA by the way. I've seen some people asking if we're back on good terms again. No, actually, the people who got invited got some invite codes, and I was lucky enough to get one of those friend codes to play alongside them. So that's why I was in there. Obviously, that was an extremely sweaty experience, more than most, because all of the players in there are really good, right? A lot of them sort of make a career around Battlefield and playing games online, so that lobby was probably one of the sweatiest I've ever experienced. But then, you know, I also leapt on yesterday and played with the public. So with that in mind, I figured we'd just do a quick rundown of what I think of this map overall, who I think this map is going to please and who it isn't going to please, and I guess sort of where it ranks overall in Battlefield 2042's map pool. Guys, as always, if you enjoy the content here on the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, also hit the like button, and feel free to follow me over on Twitter. There's a lot of discussions going on over there that aren't happening here on the channel. And hit me up on Twitch as well. You will sometimes find me streaming there, even if I'm not live on YouTube, although most of the time I'll be on both. So, Stadium then. This map is kind of like Redacted, but think more vertical instead of horizontal. And for that reason, I honestly think it is now the sweatiest infantry-focused map in the game. I think it definitely beats Haven. I think it also beats Redacted out as well, because Redacted is kind of basic. It's more similar to something like Operation Locker or Operation Metro. You have a number of different flanking routes, but for the most part, the map is on the same level outside of that one single underground flanking area off to the side of the map. But usually you're faced with one of three options, right? You can go through the middle, you can go through the left, or you can go through the right. That's pretty much the linear nature of Redacted. On this map, you have 4 different floors to this thing. So you've got the ground floor, which is basically where the desert is, and that has the A objective and the B objective outside. And then inside the stadium, you have floor number 1, which is like sort of the basement, and then you've got floor number 2, which is the purple themed, the purple coloured room, which has one of the flags inside, and then you've got the third floor, the red one, where most of the sort of chaotic corridor action is taking place. However, this verticality sort of leads to a lot of problems for me, and you're going to notice in a lot of clips here that I'm straddling one of the massive staircases between the second floor and the third floor, and I'm able to hit people, you know, on both of those floors, but I'm also able to get a nice vantage point out of the window down onto floor 0, let's call it, down onto the sand below where the B objective is, the entrance objective, and you can stop people from flanking in there. So you're sort of able to get shot from all of these really weird, wacky positions, and indeed we really felt, especially during the creator playtest, that, you know, if they took all of the 3 objectives inside of the stadium and we only had the A flag and the B flag, a lot of these head glitch windows here on the second floor are just so overpowered that it made trying to get inside a bit of a misery. Like, the amount of angles you have to worry about when you're on that B flag is insane, right? You've got to spawn to the side of you, so people can run across from around the A and the B flag and flank you from the side. Then you've got multiple windows up on the second floor of the stadium. You've also got the first floor of the stadium to worry about, and then you've also got the bottom floor. People can come down the staircase and flank you that way. I also think that smoke is far too strong here, especially if you're on the top floor, on the third floor, the red area, where people are just constantly spamming smoke all the time. And would you believe it, the map itself is actually spewing out smoke. There are these pipes hanging overhead that are constantly dripping smoke around that area as if there wasn't already enough of it. But it's not done in the same way as Redacted, right? When you have those little meat grinder sections in Redacted that are smoked off, they're usually sort of more L-shaped. You know, they kind of go around a corner, so you can sometimes push through there, come out on the other side, and then flank the enemy. Here on Stadium, you've basically just got a long corridor, and it is filled with smoke, and people are just spraying and praying through the smoke all the time. So if you go and try to push through that smoke, you're just gonna die. I can't tell you how many awkward moments I had in there, fumbling around, trying to tell friend from foe who was an enemy, getting knifed in the dark, and none of it really felt particularly tactical or fun to me. Now obviously I'm not suggesting that they should just remove smoke from the game whenever you play this map. This is clearly a map design issue here. Now in the map's defense, I will say I really enjoyed fighting around the stairs, mostly because they're open and it's somewhat predictable when you come around that corner where the enemies are going to be standing, and that's what I like about this map. I think, of course, I do want cover, but I also want some sense of predictability. And whenever I look down either of the corridors on the second floor or the third floor where those 3 internal flags are, there are just so many head glitches, boxes, little cranes that you can shoot through, people hiding in corners, and because of the nature of the map and how difficult it is to flank, people tend to sort of just stay on whatever corner they're holding, stay prone camping on the ground. Like I mentioned before, there's also smoke everywhere, so it just makes getting into an objective and clearing it out and making sure that there are no enemies there almost impossible. And maybe this just comes down to what you're looking for from a map. I'm definitely more of an aggressive player, and I've never really enjoyed maps like Operation Locker or like Operation Metro. I prefer those larger maps with more spread out objectives where I can easily flank around. There's lots of areas to run through that don't contain enemies, and I can get in and behind the enemies properly. I don't really enjoy the whole gameplay loop of just like holding a corner and waiting for enemies to come through the gate so that I can gun them down. But if you are that kind of player, if you really enjoy Redacted, you really enjoy Operation Locker and sort of holding one of those meat grinder corners, then maybe you're going to have an absolute blast in some of these corridors inside the stadium. Now on the other side of the stadium, so not where the A and the B objective is, but on the right side, if you look at the map, you have the stands where everybody is seating. And here, the amount of angles gets even worse. As soon as you poke your head outside, there could be snipers out in the sand hiding behind a container. There could even be somebody who's run all the way up to the top of the seating area and is sniping you from up there. There could be somebody from any of the exits along the way or any of the seats in the stadium. It's kind of nuts. So going out there in a bid to try to flank around that smoke-riddled corridor in order to flank the enemy often just turns out to be a death trap. Now, I haven't tried Breakthrough on this map yet, but we did play a couple of rounds of Rush, and that really wasn't that great of an experience. It was a complete and total pushover for the attacking side, and sometimes we won our rounds in as little as, I want to say 4 or 5 minutes. It really was a joke. I had some games where I was like 5-0. That was like literally I encountered 5 enemies and the game was over. So I think they need to look into Rush a little bit there. As I've said, not sure how Breakthrough plays out. I will say that McKay seems to be like somewhat almost useless on this map. You would think with a map with multiple layers to it that he would actually be a godsend, but in actuality there are so many zip lines here up on the outside of the building and also through the elevator shafts that he's almost not necessary. During the closed playtest, the go-to weapon certainly seemed to be the PBX. I believe it has the fastest TTK in the game, up to like 17 meters, which is going to be a pretty common engagement distance. But that was just during the closed playtest, so it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out during a live scenario, now that everybody has their hands on the map, of course. So where would I rank this map overall in Battlefield 2042's pool? It's alright, you know, it's alright. It's not really for me. I personally honestly think that Haven is a better map. I think that Redacted is a better map as well. I just don't like the number of angles here. And again, maybe this is just my personal preference. Like I did say, I'm not much of a infantry only meat grinder kind of guy. Perhaps you are, and you're going to enjoy this map a lot more than I did. And then of course we also have to factor into there that yes, this map is still relatively new, right? And as always, whenever you play on a new map, it does take a while to learn all the ins and outs of the map, all the little intricate details, where those common head glitch positions are, where people can be camping, how the spawns work, all those sorts of things, right? Do I have all of those down in like a few hours of gameplay? No, absolutely not. And maybe that is the source of some of my frustrations here. But I'm sort of thinking back to the way that I felt about Haven within the first few hours of playing that map, and I think I sort of came to understand how that map worked. And despite the insane number of windows there are to shoot out of in that map, I just felt like I was able to traverse the map a little bit easier and get into a better positioning. I just don't feel like I've ever been shot in the back quite so many times as when I play Stadium. But guys, this isn't about me. Let me know what you guys think of the map down below. Are you having a good time on the map? Let me know how it's going. Subscribe for more Battlefield content. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video today, and I'll see you guys in the next one.